Babette. Into the game of life. Life, you see, say, you can say abraba, life, you can say abrabo. What you can say, you say life. The game of life or life, life is about birth, growth, and death. That is life. Life is about growth. It's about birth, growth, and death. Within birth, growth, and death is the game. So we play the game between birth, growth, and death. How do you play the game? How do you play the game of life? And then your best center match on desires, what you desire, your wishes, what you want, what you need. It can be work, it can be marriage, it can be a child, it can be money, it can be car, it can be house, it can be good health, strength, anything you need and want in life. So how do you win the game of life? So here I'm saying, you as an individual, whatever you want, whatever you need, how can you get it? In here, so the game will be between you getting what you want and not getting what you want. So that is the game. In other words, you winning or losing, that is the game. You being successful and not being unsuccessful, that is the game. So whatever you want and whatever you need, in the process of achieving it, that is the game. How can you win the game of life, irrespective of whatever you want or need in life? Ehano, say over 90%, or let me say even 98% of the world population, their approach to life is wrong. It is only 2%. And our approach to life, are you right? That is why it is only 2% that is rich, that is worthy, that is doing well in life. So they will say in society, the wise are few. The wise, they say, it means people who have ideas, people who are initiators, who are creators, who are inventors. They are few. So in the game of life, the first rule is to know that life, or the game of life, is spiritual and mental. The game of life is spiritual and mental. But 98% believe that the game of life is physical. If you believe that the game of life is physical, then of course you will approach life physically. All your process, all your approaches will be physical actions. You put in physical actions because you believe the game of life is physical. So physically, you have to put in your best. But the reality is the game of life is spiritual and mental. So the question will be, how can you put in physical actions to something that is mental and spiritual? It is not possible. So if it is not possible, then that's the reason, that is the evidence of 98% people being the underdog and 2% being the winners of the game of life. Nti so ewiase na dodoɔ na no, they are all about actions, physical actions towards achieving their goal. Yes, you have to apply the physical actions. It's fine, it's cool. But if you are supposed to move, or if you are supposed to open a door to get to a room or an office, yeah, you cannot enter the room without opening it. That is it. And if there is a particular key that you are supposed to use to open the door, then no matter how strong you are, no matter how gorilla you are, you can never open the door. So I'm saying this to say, in life, if you are approaching it with your physical strength, then you are already a loser or you have already failed. That is it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Because Hagar was saying he cannot hear anything. Okay, fine. All right. So Hagar, if you can rejoin. So in the game of life, the game is mental and spiritual. That is the first rule. Second rule, you set the rules of the game of life. You the individual, you the actor, you set the rules. That's what you have to remember. Not anybody else. You you set the rules, not anybody else. You set the rules here means that the idea that you will use to approach life should come from you. It's your own idea, not someone's idea. So here, if you take an information from somebody, you accept it into your personality. If I say personality, your personality might be different from me. In my personality, maybe I I do my givings on a particular day. You may do yours on another particular day. On some particular days, I wear some colors. You also wear some different colors. So we are not the same. So if I receive an information, in processing it, I might process it differently from you. So your idea that makes you unique, idea that will lead us to ideology. So you see, so in the game of life, you set the rules. That's what you have to remember. So if you set the rule that A is always one to you, then in your subconscious mind, all what it knows is that according to you, A is one. According to somebody, A might be 8. And his or her subconscious will believe that A is 8. So what I'm saying is, what you accept, that is what your subconscious mind accept as well. So in the game of life, there is no truth until your subconsciousness accepts it. I repeat, in the game of life, individually, there is no truth. I'm trying to say your truth. What you say, this is my truth. It is never truth until your subconscious mind accepts it to be truth. So if your subconscious mind accept that I cannot open my own business, that is it. If you believe that you cannot open your own business, then your subconscious mind will accept it that, oh, this person, this personality cannot open his or her own business. So that's what your subconscious mind has accepted. And it will never process your mind. It will never process your ideas. It will never arrange your personality to be someone who is ever ready in life to open a business on his own. Listen and listen very carefully. Nyame kan say, abrabɔ mu no, mmara no, ɛyɛ wo na wohyehyɛ. Principles no, wo na wohyehyɛ, nyɛ obi na hyehyɛ de ma wo. Wo de w'adwene so na hyehyɛ. Enti sɛ wogye to mu sɛ, me akosua mansa deɛ, me de me obi a, me ntimi mbie me amadwuma o. Wogye to mu saa pɛ, wo subconscious mind na ɛyɛ incontrollable no. Ɛyɛ involuntary. Involuntary kyerɛ sɛ nyɛ wo na wo control. Enti wo wagye ato mu no, ɔno gye to mu pɛ ɛno ano no. Enti so ɔgye to mu sɛ, saa personality wei, ɔno no, wagye ato mu sɛ, ɔno de ɔno ankasa ntimi mbie n'adwuma. Na o subconscious mind no, efi saa da na ɛkɔ no, saa na ɔsate so oprocess w'adwene no. Na aba bɛyɛ wo idea, na bɛka wo personality ho. Nti bɔn sɛ ɔno so no, bɛprocess w'adwene such a way sɛ, wondwen da sɛ wopɛ sɛ obie w'ankasa w'adwuma. If sɛ wagye ato mu sɛ, Who you be a one cassa will be a juma. So would you to me say, I am a cushion man sandy, maybe a me be me a majuma. Maybe that be a baby. Not a subconscious man, so I jail to me say, ah, sub personality way. Or you be a I don't be on one juma, no starting process, why be any sir. Says sub personality way, you be a but not be on one juma. The bone so, or co baby, no be a beard man, I effect, no needing come more. Enough, I no man away. No, your skyway. But no, all this sound. I dream about this sound. Come on, I dream about dreams. Our subconscious mind, you know. Now, our dreams. So, how once you want to me control, or have a tower dream, and you want to dream who, or how another towards your subconscious mind, you know, from the soul. It won't have a toner dream. Hey, and in your honor, no, or the Asana Jim son don't mean be a Jumano or no Shanko for Jumana. Why? But where dear, but also we are crying about so be any dear. And this old did say, what you want to me, and my a doer, Sapper now, subconscious man, the bed to look at yourself, want to me where my do. And to Union say, pet, who will be a want to me where my doing to this, oh, ma, and Konoa Naya. Union say, pet, about from my corner, temper, not a better dream, want to know you my do, you go, walk a year. You set the rules, and you'll be, and the rules now was set, no. My child said, and yes, sir. Wokɔtena now depend church nko a wonam na wo dwen a wokasa wo depend churo wo di wo ye wa dwen ne pɛ na wo sap conscious mind ne ye wo wankasa wo fi pem na wo dwen bibi sɛ wo da ho sɛ wo gina ho wo trans na wo hyehyɛ wo churo sɛ wo duro ɛyɛ wo na wo fi pem na waye sɛ kɔtɔ subconscious mind ne mu pɛ aka abɛyɛ wo part of you. That is rule number 2. And rule number 3. In the game of life, you compete with yourself. And you'll be. You compete with yourself and you'll be. So competing will be and at the time at the ban. You compete with yourself, so you make yourself better. And this is now one. As a channel 2, one can say who and our one, a channel 1 at the same one that other compete with and then me capital you say, and then me business you say, and then a juma win a me, a channel my way. That's how set to rules man said every 2 years BSM system, every 1 year BSM system, every 3 years BSM system. Well, you know, why do you want to subconscious mind, you know? Ah, me, and then me capital, you know, at the end of the year, no. 50,000. Next year, me pets 70,000. What kind of subconscious mind was accepting to overstart? I dream for how 70,000 better, a beba. Into no, and the Yajmo we come away, and the Trebojuma way, and the Uwe, and the Mao Dream Sano. Oh, house 8, Mohana Minya dream you if you subconscious mind from the soul, Nababitum. Near me, kind of woman, answer me, Kajuma Day, answer me, physical action be the game of life is spiritual and mental, not physical. Maybe I submit me the call for a kahwa. Susan. Well, Susan, my invite you. Nana Tibu, my invite you. And in the game of life, you know, you compete against yourself. That is it. And rules on the dorsal, but rule number 4. In the game of life, you have to make a sacrifice. And that sacrifice, it could be sacrificing yourself or sacrificing another person. And so what you really you're trying to say, you have to make a sacrifice. That's the rule of life. In the game of life, rule number 4, you have to make a sacrifice. Sacrifice another day. 1, it could be you as an individual. You, based on your resources, that is your time, your money, your material resources, your human resources, You believe that this is all what I have, and this is what I want to use to achieve what I want. But I'm sure me ho and now when I'm where me way mean to me enya ade a ne kese say na mum ne kese say na metimi aye enti de ma me sacrifice anigye a enka metimi anya na me me way me nso so me ho na me fa nye ne chaye kese a na makopesa anigye ni wo ho. So here you have sacrificed your happiness. You see? So in the game of life, you have to make a sacrifice. It could be even your son, your mother, your father, your sister, your friend. Oh yes, kapa. But also yes, can be a business. Who yes can be a year a dear be wojumum. And look about be a same to be ubisawa. Ubanyani more at the amano. This sacrifice, a idea ha a before pa. A ha before pa can say tutu a high mano. It sounds that you think when somebody asks you, you have to give. When somebody asks you, you have to help. There is difference between giving and helping. There's difference between to give and to help. Help is extending a helping hand to a needy person. It could be your friend, a family member, your siblings, your parents. That is help. So you help according to your strength. You will help according to your resources. And Tiana Modrin say, obi a papa. There be emwa. In fact, the word papa embe she emwa embe replace emwa. They will say obua obi, they will say we papa. But you you mix, or let me say you take the two words as the same thing. Say we papa, now obua obi no imagine say baako. No. Giving and now friend say we papa. Help and emwa. Enti ohia me mmoa ma wo di mu na mifi na meboa no. And a goodness who given and a good. To give, you give out of your own will. Abe obi ambisa ye. We de ono abe bisa. And a oboa no. Enti ne wo at that moment na obisa no emu na ohwe na wo de aboa. Na mo give ni de obi ambisa ohwe eye wo na ofi opem se me hwe me resources nyina metima yi sei e de aboa simasi metimi de aboa we still me da so obi wo ho. So in life, yes, I will tell you the difference between giving and help. So here, sacrifice. It can be time, it can be money, it can be resources, it can be anything. So you yourself, you have to sacrifice that early happiness now, early comfort now, for a better comfort. So we say binom, onwa, or say no chireno. Onwa ose abrabon ahebisi basa nanso okura iPhone 13 Pro Max o pesika e de ye adwuma o peso obi fa na adwuma okura iPhone 14 Pro Max wakwa ko rent e dan a month otua 2000 anase month otua 1000. Yeah life teaches no make asen bi say in life you use what you have to get what you want. You use what you have to get what you want. Na ne uwe, o de akwa to comfort. O de akwa to flexing. O de akwa to fancy. E na wo fancy, e na wo flex, e na wo comfort o. Afi wo say abrawo na heading. Hwe. Obi kura ehia just 500 Ghana cedi. 1000 Ghana cedi. Ene pelo no hia, no de aye bibi no akọ nanim. Nanso wo kura emu moho na wa dan ni phone, ne kura wonsam. 13 Pro Max, 12 Pro Max. Samsung Galaxy S25 in the crowd. And I would see and I always can be business. Samsung Galaxy S25 yet on the same. 15 Pro Max yet on the same. A business capital in the crowd with someone. Jajimieno, Nakoton phone, Nafa be a business. Jajimieno, Nakoton phone, Nafa Shebi Biase. Abrabono, Makacha said, you don't compete with anybody, you compete with your own self. Obikura 15 Pro Max, only competition. You are competing your own self. Unya bibi unibi. What you have is you have a bunch of 1,000 cities in tens, about 10,000. So when in fives, about 5,000. And your phone you could have converted. Now you is got not fire yes or day. Also wouldn't be so open so show off into alcohol rented Diane and boy day and I would them. No what them now they actually now you know they actually there be. You compete against your own self, not anybody. Not anybody. In the game of life, you have to make a sacrifice. To comfort no when and neno, you have to sacrifice it. Abrabo ye easy o. Debe metaka chem say abrabo ye easy. Nengum se udi obi achi a. If you are somebody who follow the trend until you live your life according to how people live their lives. Me ni wi asiska nyina. E wi asi billions me ni bi. But I am not in need. Nyemi hia bia no me saka. Nyemi hia bia no metimito entimis no me hia essence me hia de no within my budget. So I can afford anything I need and want. Because I make sure my wishes, my desires, my needs, my wants are within the limits of my budget. Not anybody's budget. My laptop I use manya HS kakra. Na me say me will press it. And I was busy trying to make the order a jumum. And I said, me colleague back, I was my busy. Yes, I quite idea. Binam oh, my main fish ya na jam commodity and mechanic me a train. I said, oh, Obenya bi Amazon, Obenya bi amu obi we bi no kwa ya refurbish Obenya bi. I'm say hwe ni oka. Obi a me come animu no. O say refurbish. Within my budget no. Menim say when na metimi anya. O say man rush me ho. O say eye within my budget into no. Me so minim limit bia metimi akọ ba ono no eye high man no. By me no eye within my budget into anya high mame. I went to the website and built my own laptop. Send ya me pen no and I mesh share no. Until they will build it from the factory. E bi ni ho. E me ankasa na mash share until even the Intel, the storage, the processing, no make ho. Me na mash share. So that type of laptop is not in the system. So they have to build it from the factory. And it costs. And it is within my budget. So if you make your sacrifice and the time comes for the better comfort, you see, you get a better comfort. You compete against your own self, not anybody. No, the one who is ahead of you, no, as money near oil and amount inspiration, as it motivate you. So in real life, the people you see as your competitors, they are your inspirators, they are your motivators. Ama dan bibia butu nti ehan man mu asem na me kan you won say esuma ne de omo tatashe buga na omo de nya ne omo anya ana so omo de pe ne omo de hwehwe ne omo pe na wo han ba ne de wonnim sa tatashe ne ye wonnim sa za ne ntro ne ye bibia no open han o pese o kan na kro pese o di na kro pese o bo abrabo fine ti se na ye nimu aye no ti se na ye gya nyame safa kire ye no so wa hu and you machi. Mama rules no 4. 5. In the game of life, no. When you are happy, that is where you should be humble and sober. When you are enjoying or life is going well or life is at its peak for you, that is where you plan. That is where you invest. That is where you should be sober and humble. And in life, when you are down or you are facing difficulties, that is where you should be highly motivated. That is where you should give yourself the opportunity that, oh, and then they will famo. Nanti pampa na meka hako si dabi. Enya fama na meka. Ese metimi swale kosoro. Nte se wa adwen se wo famu di a wo next decision wo be kosoro. Nti when you are down, That is when you should be even thinking bigger. You should be planning bigger. Uni hwe no, ehwo na ese wo dwen kese. Na nye uni bi ntin da bia mo a me de me ni bi o. Omo kwa mi nkobi. Ghana ye wo kasa be kasa. Me de me ni bi ntin mi mpi na me kwaka obi no mangu na me nkoboka efise me ni bi. Anya kasa papa. A low vibration. Pie. Jijijinam na pie. A sign say, share appearance, it talks a lot. A sign say, near own nibino. Say, oh, show sa opportunity, say, ono krano, o nibu, but or side vibration is say, me ye me who ready say, be ba, intimidation me home. And the universe was the end of why you ready into only be cry, be zibia mano. Inter Dr. Pacos Takacha must say, opportunities there bow. No opportunity there on farm say, who form an hour so on the ultimate any time. So you have to prepare at all times. A bar, no assume, no grabo. And see, Mahamuha, now I have to do a question. Our question another to comment session. I say, there you are no. We are learning about how to win the game of life. And there are more rules, no? 5 of them. How to win the game of life. It's say it's a high man, more bread pa. As we do ye be and koye, share. Was so mammy wajow, a cow on quan, and to the woonie will be a share. Oh, some what didn't say. A brabon quan bet me a bo into the universe of how mammy of Papa Coyan. Near wood here, near Pebiano was some what dino, so with me aye. Into a more beyond that dow. And I want to say, boom, wabun fia. Jitum say, ubet me aye. Na fino, sorry, na kwaye. And to a questioner, fatu comment section ho. Na mean you are no. Oh, a questioner, fatu comment section. Na mean you are no. The thing you call life, the world or humans have never gotten the opportunity to know its reality. No. And the fact is that those who know will not teach you. That is why they have secret societies, secret groups. They teach themselves, they teach their members. Nanso no. And then aso say hi man so moji money if you say yeah mre na aso. Nti ese ye kire. Bibia kwa koyi opposite amamo abrabom no. Bibia kwa koyi opposite amamo. Ya kire mu di opposite nti hi man mo bre pa. If say mo no mu nim sa azan no ye. Satatashi no mu nim ye. Hwe. Nti mo bre. Nti ese mo so munya the right route and I say the right way. Munya the course, munya the keys to life. Abrabon easy. Awale easy. Hwe. Bibia ye easy o. Sikanya easy. Upasa usasidi easy. Na emom no. Your thankful bi na amabrabon na ye din amamo. Na apensu no. Esa na watwa amamo no kwan na watwa amamo a wa kire mo say saa kwan we so na ye fa so ma abrabom ye ho toye no. Anya kwan papa. Saa kwan so e ma wo bre. Na ma mo bre. So won enti no wo question na fato come session na say ye hu say first one no life, the game of life is mental and spiritual, not physical. So won yes so who say in life, in the game of life, you set the rules, not anyone. When I set the rules no and the rules ma kire mo won say ne wuji tumu no and our subconscious mind ne jitum wujitum say wontimi ya ai ono so afa ne say wontimi ye nti ono so be process o say wo yo bi a wontimi ye saa de we ya wo ka say wontimi ye nti wontimi nya so da nti ana nyame safo ka kire mo say tumu ye honhom ne wo mu jitum say obetimi aye jitum say obetimi aye. The answer who say in life you compete against your own self, not anybody. You compete against your own self. Yes, someone who say in life, rule number 4, you have to make a sacrifice. And oyo ma me pa ona wo oyo papa ona wo na so no alichiyemu no omudidi da university hwe omoda wonsa ne omu bi no omudidi enti enei wanya ma na obelidi enti se wonim sane yetimi make sacrifice even po against parent debia na ode ko babia ogina ho na obegina make sense so wo na ese wo ye bibi na eye bibi na be dane family no wahu na ebie kwa my family no na ne wo di babia saa de no o chiche ne saa for the Christmas o chiche ne saa essence o feel say ese wo ye papa hwe ma kire o say emwa say wo ye papa na afei say wo bua obi e different enye the same enti na wati ase saa na last one so ma kire say in the game of life no ti ase say wo onipa dasani wo bobra no in the game of life no how ni amane ewum so how ba wakofom ukofom wo next the station say wo ba be kosoro enti yensu bebre wo ye nipa sukakara na bi siesie wo ho na wo say wo ba be kosoro na so ne ba what must so opportunity ba what ma grab and now wo soro nso so sa comfort zone no sa nije mre no sa wo peak time na wo nyeska no totopete invest fabisha ahona wa yesa wo soba ahona yesa wo humble ho to nature na nature hu se ni ode ma wo no wan fa nye kokofu bobo wan fa nye huhu ne mo nyansani watu apete ena yesua ka kire mo bible m se nyansani no otopete oduane bebre sele be ya amane ba wonya bi free ha no wonya bi free no wonya bi free ha nti ho ene yetrase ne apran na nya ho na afi na yebeji yani na da bia wo se ska da bia na wo se normal so oji wani dabi nti emrane doso 5 na media mamo still me biso a meje questions nti wo question na they are to commercials na she we the nation of Nubia ya yen chere kakra nti wo question bia now they are to commercials na she ya bekan na ya answer Hagan wamba bi mintimi hu sister out yen ka manchua wa question no yetie wo enti abusuafo ma pause for questions abrabo how to win the game of life enti wa question questions in here o bisa abrabo no say business na wubie anamo bi na opese wutu legal issues, family issues, friends issues, business issues, job issues upewa mne den ma yehu anasa abrabo na nkasa so no at saying we say marriage is easy how because I did sikabe question nye clear we say marriage is easy how because I did mentiase this our question ni bi sikabe enti adofo how to win the game of life se question se nemba dia me toaso sikabe nka question nye clear kakra ma menanka me answer na yentoaso we say I mean I didn't experience it easiness. Okay. Why experience it easiness? San say one tiasie. One tia brabo na se anything why experience no. If say what aware as a pa enka we experience say e very very easy. Na easy na make no e easy abla what awale ni abrabo asio say abrabo ni awale no say yesi ntiase na yesi ntiase amawa and automatically unya ni easy esan say aware akamu say distance you say a wale and I say a wa ye trimo you say a wale and when ye nya wale free you tena ho awale se chane say onipa obabelima ni onipa obaba omo ayonkofa abrabo a ware long journey a ware long journey enti se ware dia na ye nananama ka kire wo se dia ben no ene etwi enti first law ne se since ye nipa ni nipa na abebum abaye ba ko no ende o matare enti ndi o mbetwi enti ende first law wa wale mu kwa ne se problem ne wo ho yen kan kire mo no ayifro no wani age dondo no wani age na wo sere ayifro na do ema no no de break no de kire senke ka kire wo se awale yenya from the word wale and I said it be wa into long distance mo ba betale mo betwi into dia etale na twi a and then ati ase say year before no ye ba wale a first question da ho say mo betwi into first question da ho say eh dey ba ko betia ba ko nan so and then the first notification e say dey ma nemo na enye dondo no ne yani age no e na oba ukwa awale ase a omo wale bi na omo kasa anase ye mom advisor ukoi ko make sure say ukunu ho beto no ko make sure say ubey wase di o be ma ho ko make sure say ubey wase di when ye dey mamo ni ye ja the main thing the first thing notification is ye dey mamo the first advice is ye dey mamo say ma betale ntimu betwi ntimu ntia say awale na mo komu no first ade dey ma dwumri say mo betia mo nan so nti wunim say awale a me komi me kunu betia manan so mesime tia manan so na wa cycle wa dwen na wo de awuram nti otia onan so a ye ka kire me ya we dada wo tia manan so nti se den na menye na asunje mbra den na menye na afi se ne na menene ti dada asunje mu ye so nya sa asunje na enkanya enye na awara na bubu afa so amusun enti be ma nim na oba ni nim no omokwa ko wuram sa de do ma dwim nti omakasa yo omo yo ho notificators nti we notify we na we notify we kai we na we kai we nti e ba no siko ni mo ka kire no won sa ba nti sa la ni na wutoi nti pa cho jai na hu se obuafu pa lemu no ni mo kan no ene ebe ye ho nti misrew wo ya we me so me ya we ma ti o na so de na emom yembom na yenso yin firi ho unim nti na o tia o na so a na akwa kese o yo tanfo o tia o na so a na se ate se ga baba we wa ha we da fiesi na we ya da fiesi ya mean di na duane na mo ti fi o mo nkasa mum mienu na se mo kan bom na mo so problem no wo a wo jiri se obuafu no e se wo so wa veli wo ho na mo nyina mo bom na mo so problem cause mo ya we ye ka chama sana mo be wura wale nim se dia be na twi me say kasa life abrabaha yanchira mo the reality of it o amode na me chan na emane nya wo wanwa isan say una osusu say abrabomu no ne wa wale mfie bebere abrabomu no ne assertive me invite you as guest manchu ma invite wa oma anabia wo adwumam manchu wa isan say una osusu say abraboro obo anase una osusu say abrabomu no se ka say obi ye panyin a eyemfie hwe kokan job be ka kira o say se ka say obi ye panyin a enya mfie na mu enyansa ne nimde ene ka say obi ye panyin entinye say marriage counselor wa wale ache wa kwabre wo awale mu hwe foundation of awale teachings na wa kwabre wo mu wrong enti enfa ho say marriage counselor ni foundation no ni basis no ni nimde na wrong premises no wrong enti obemma lecture afa marriage no anase obe cancel nso wrong nko. Marriage counselor ben anim ya me ne wo kan. Opanyi ben ena watufu afa wale ho a ne me ne wo kan wadi waka akere wo da. Enti dia ka akere mo say zodiac signs no Pisces already the old wise man. Me a Piscean, old wise man. Enti wo nana o na nya akwala enya abrantie kura body nu de abrantie ne mo nyo no kasa na nya abrantie. Enti se how ti ase a enti maame se kabel se wahu wo se wa nya anigye how ne amane ba na se na wo solve ne sifa woni bema no monte ase wa abrabuma tisɛn mo agreement mo understanding etise mo nim de etisen mutimi ba agreement mutimi any problem no weni nim wesu nim na omutin so entimi emba embom ensolve problem enti awale de mesi eye easy very very easy eye easy abrabo so eye easy Osai TV okwa na ode ma me hwese metimi sekabe ashemu a sekabe ma send we invite sekabe o question say ma you are no
Mpatrai.
what you say pa
Matias here, ba.
eh
Matias here. Matias
eh
here.
enti no awale for na mo take notes hwe ukuru nya otanfu na oyere nya otanfu enti na
Oh,
bible no ye wa asem bi e ka kire mo say kai wo kanedo remember your first love enti we say no nka wale mo kono anytime I have na mane ba bia no na mo twamani ma hwe beginning na anije ni wo ho no anije ni wo ho say mo komani mu no say how na mane ba na say motivate mo say oh emre bi atwam na ye fine pow na ye do ye ho pow man tene ka mentimi ntina wan temi ko ntimi ntina na ba na say na dia yesi we na aba na mabo na tenase na aka na afi sa anije no mo pese mo kwa akofa ba bi mo mu mienu o mabo how na ne amane mabo na tenase na oni maba betena awaliem how ne amane ba ma mo mbo na tenase wankasa mumbom na mumbo no hu no onko na mo ntena mo ni jem nipa mienu o nye nipa baako ntina yesel you have to marry a level-headed person but employed do na no level-headed person so ne enta nya omo
no crepa because nya okay. You are ready to make peace. But Bema no so I am ready so say on the you ready for peace. It's in as a yeah we are not in alignment with anything. But the next one we are sure say befa.
and na yero ho na amane ko so yero mo ho enti e to aso dia ha ana key ni wo no enti obi anya aso no wontie in the game of life match will say spiritual and mental spiritual and mental na enye physical na amumuhunu no enye physical na amumuhunu no enti bo hu se ne onu hu se abrabo no physical no o face no physically enti ne o hwehwe bia no ode na ho odin na ode pe so wahu how na mane na aba so pe adwuma obese osi dan a obese oware a obese owo a physical na okono enti no ono ne mra ne say if I am able to do my best work hard then I will be able to reach my goal and I say achieve what I want and I say get my desire ono no ne mra no and ordinam yɛnhwɛ wei nso so ɛ nea ɔno nso so say if I am able, yeah, to give a good thought, mind, adwene, nyansa, so wahu mentally, so wahu sɛ meyɛ m'adwene say a na mede adwuma no ka ho a ɛnde nea mehwɛ ne me nsa bɛka. If I am able to have good thoughts, good plans, and add the actions, then of course I'll reach my goal. Enti ha na kyerɛw sɛ, then the first point, the starting point of trying to win the game of life, it is mental, not physical. Enti wadwuma na wo se ese de enko ye nti no nesia de wo pese wo bɔ homɔde nti mesɔre ntem mekɔ ntem mekɔ pie ntem na make sure sɛ mentan piepie menkokɔ nkɔfoɔ hɔ mehwɛ adwuma no metena ho sɛ wahu wobɛtena ho a customers a moba no ɔmo ana moyɛ den ɔmo ba enti nyɛ physical action no na mmom no wobɔ to wadwe mu sɛ nesia de amekɔ yi me plans ne sɛ me nipa dasani ɛyɛ sɛ metimi make sure sɛ me customers na moba a ɔmo ani gye ɔmo ba a me ne ɔmo bɛsere me lively mɛgye ɔmo ɛfɛw so a ma mentena se den paa na metuma yɛ aka ho aha no wonya ka ma mentena se pɛ na kyɛ sɛ mentally wawura adwene no mu den paa ana ya menye promotion ana promotion pa menye ne sen buy one get one free ana buy 5 get one free ana every month be a month be and ya menye nkofo Black Friday bi we wadwe o ana wo de ehihye noma na nye physical action menye nkofo Black Friday bi ana mpo se mentete noma no so kakra na menhwe ne besi me prophet ne me lo wane kakra na menhwe ade wakasa obeya obepeluzu mu na wanya wo final answer nti nesi ya oba na fe wo the action no na wo de aka ho na you start action your cause and effect. The cause is the mental and the effect is the physical. You cannot change the effect until you change the cause. So you can never have a change by putting in physical actions without changing the mental, the mind. I've been a touch, you know. The Anchiramo, your Makachaman say, Yedjumadin, Jero, Bohomadin, Yedjumadin, Debia Yedjumadin, Yedjumadin. Nayan Kanchiro say, O Papa Adam, ye bonubia. Say assassin, mu, no bedi di were free, no bad bread, or better than you, Nanimu, Obeson animal in the free answer, what did he? And this I was here to my ding, obey you know, by to my dear, and then now, oh, my case and I am more, and the case and just who the case and put a white genie fool alpha. And the Adjumadin, ain't a branch here. Minia. Until when and I'll be about papers. Until when? And so make us say, obey the 500 cities and the share business as you. You can put the 50 cities and the share business as you. And in the game of life, you change the course. And it reflects in the effect. That's the results. The law of cause and effect. The cause is the mental. The effect is the physical. It is a normal way you are boom. No man kwe wa jumom, no man kwe wa walim,